Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm Ryan Rastall, PGA professional here at Howley Hall Golf Club in Leeds, and today we've got the brand new Qi10 range of rescues to take a look at from TaylorMade. So let's talk about each one of these models. So we'll start with the Qi10 Max rescue. Okay, so this is the one that's going to suit probably the mid to higher handicappers, and certainly those players that struggle to get the ball airborne. We're going to have huge forgiveness in here. And there's lots of technology to talk about. We've got twist face, you can see it in the top corner of the face there. That's really helping on those off-center hits to try and straighten up that ball flight for you. We can see the alignment line on the top there that's etched, really helps for your alignment when you stood over the golf ball as well. I think it's a much cleaner look to the top of the fairway woods now. We don't have that big contrast between the leading edge and the crown. This more gloss sort of finish that we get as well, I think looks really good. We've got the V-steel sole plate as well, which really helps with that turf interaction, because these are clubs we're going to be hitting off the ground a hell of a lot. And we also see this through speed pocket that TaylorMade have had, which really helps, particularly with those bottom strikes, helps the face flex a little bit more and maintain some of the ball speed. So the standard Qi10 rescue, a little bit more compact in terms of its looks, certainly looks a little bit sleeker, and there's not as much mass from front to back there, but all of the same technologies that we saw. So twist face, we've got the alignment line, we've got the V-steel sole, the through speed pocket, and everything that we saw in the Max model as well. These two models are glued, so we don't have the adjustability in there, but there's more loft options available than we will see in the Tour, which we'll have a look at in a second. But yeah, this is a rescue that's going to be slightly more of a mid-flight and kind of suits probably the widest range of player as well. Like I said, we're going to hit some on the Trackman in a second and tell you our feedback, but that's certainly what TaylorMade are telling us. So in the Qi10 Tour rescue, we see a much deeper face and a slightly different shape. So more like your iron face sort of shape that we see here. It's aimed at the slightly better player, or maybe someone who wants to really flight that ball down a bit more. In addition to all the technologies that we saw in the other two, we actually see in here adjustability as well. So we're able to move the loft up and down and also change the lie a little bit too. So this is a bit more of a versatile hybrid from the point of view that we can kind of dial it in a little bit more, and it will also suit that player who probably wants to just control that flight a little bit better too. We're going to hit all three of these now on the Trackman here in the Performance Centre and show you exactly what we think. So we'll start with Qi10 Max, okay? This is the most forgiving of the three hybrids we're going to hit today. Slightly bigger footprint, a little bit sort of longer from front to back as well. And remember, we've still got some of these key technologies like the through slot speed pocket and the V-steel sole. This is a hybrid that's probably aimed at your mid to higher handicapper, or certainly someone who wants to get the ball airborne a little bit more. So let's hit a few with this and see how it goes. We've got the one of the stock shafts, so the Speeder NX, which is really light. So it's down at 60 grams, this inner stiff flex that I've got, which is quite light for a hybrid shaft, to be honest. So let's have a bit of a hit with it and see how we get on. Feels really powerful. I mean, the shaft feels very, very light, and as if any of you have watched videos that we've done with hybrids before, I'm always worried about hitting hybrids left, and particularly if they've got a lighter shafting than this. And true to form, that first one's gone pretty left. Let's see if we can hit a little bit straighter one. A little bit straighter, I think. Yeah, just down the sort of right side of the fairway there. But yeah, very solid feel to the head, considering how much carbon there is and all that technology that's going on in there. Very solid feeling golf club. I really like this kind of alignment line that we've got at the top there, and obviously the twist face is going to help with those off-center hits as well. So we're going to move on now to the Qi10 rescue, okay? So a little bit smaller and more compact head than we see versus the Max that we've just hit. So in Qi10, we're going to see all the same technology. So we've got twist face, we've got the speed pocket in there as well, and the V-steel sole. Like I say, it does look that little bit more compact and probably going to suit a kind of wider range of golfer as well with this shape. So many of you who use rescue clubs now or hybrids are probably going to move into this golf club. It's one that's going to be easy to launch. We've got a slightly different shaft in it this time, so the Ventus, which is the standard shaft Ventus TR in blue, in the hybrid 70 stiff now, so a little bit heavier than what we saw in the Max. So let's have a few hits with it. Feels just as solid off the face, a little bit lower flight to start with, which is kind of what we'd expect, but yeah, still feels very good. And feels pretty much the same off the face as well, to be honest. It's pretty good, like I say, nice and solid, certainly a bit more solid feeling than some hybrids that I've used in the past. But let's move on and have a look at the Tour. Qi10 Tour is very, very different to the other two models. You can see it's a hell of a lot more compact now. We've still got some of the same technology, so with the speed slot, the V-steel sole, twist face, but you can see it's a little bit deeper and a completely different silhouette that we have of the golf club there. So it's more of that player's hybrid. It's going to appeal more to the better player and almost replace irons within the set, rather than the others almost acting like a more lofted fairway would, really. Again, we've got a different shaft, so tenside blue in X-Flex this time, 85 grams, so a little bit different to the others. All of these that we've tried, so this is a 19.5 degree, the other two have been 20, so pretty similar really. I mean, that feel off the face is certainly more solid, a hell of a lot more of a crunch coming off there. Yeah, I mean, that for me is completely different to the other two. Feels really good, and it'll be interesting when we have a look at all the numbers when we've hit all these, but certainly for me feels like it's the one I'm going to hit the straightest and probably the longest as well. But it's kind of designed for players like myself who have got a decent amount of clubhead speed and probably do get a lot of spin, so it's going to help control that. Also, the adjustability factor there helps, and I just think it kind of reacts just like a long iron does as well. So very, very nice golf club. So now we've hit all those rescues, let's have a look at the results. So like I said when hitting them, the Max model, you know, obviously was a little bit bigger, didn't, you know, feel as good as the other two, but that's purely because it's not aimed at someone like me. It's aimed to get the ball high, it's aimed to spin it a lot, and certainly when we're looking on here, we can see the Max is the highest spinning of the three. So well done, TaylorMade, one tick in the box there. So it performs really nicely. We've got 234 carry, 248 total. Again, remind you that it's 20 degrees this one. And you can see height-wise, it's the highest of the three at 113 feet as an average. If we look at the standard Qi10, okay, we can see 239 yards carry, 255-ish total, 105 feet as an average in terms of the height. We can see the ball speeds on all three of these are pretty similar. They're kind of within a couple of miles an hour, so fairly negligible really, and very similar speeds that I'm swinging out with them all around that 100 miles an hour mark. But then when we compare it to the Qi10 Tour Rescue, we can see there that for me, the performance was just that bit better. It was lower spinning. The carry was a little bit up on everything else at 243, nearly 244, and 264 as a total. So we've got a little bit of run on it there. So it's quite a good club off the tee potentially. Off the ground, it's not going to stop particularly quickly, which for a hybrid is maybe what you'd want. So perhaps I need to play around with that a little bit in terms of getting a little bit more height on it and maybe a bit more spin so that it actually stops when it hits a green. So it's more like an iron kind of trajectory would be. We can see the flight now down at 93 feet, so a little bit different to the other two. If we look at the dispersion, we can also see a huge difference. Now, if we look at the Max, we can see the dispersion's the worst with that, which you'd expect it to be the best. But I think, to be honest, it had a lot to do with how sort of light and not whippy, but kind of the shaft just didn't feel right for me. It felt very, very easy to sort of turn the ball over with, which I guess is what this Max model is designed to do. So whilst that shaft didn't suit me, it may suit you a hell of a lot, and you may see the complete inverse of this when you try them. We can see it comes in a little bit more with the standard Qi10, but if we look at the Tour, we can see everything just tightens up. The ball flight was that bit more kind of, I don't know, reliable, I suppose. And when we look at the kind of downrange shots that we're hitting with those, they're much straighter flights, just nice little draws. But yeah, overall, that one seemed to suit me a little bit better. But like I said, you may find the complete opposite when you try these, and I would implore you to go and get properly custom fitted by a TaylorMade fitter that knows what they're talking about, and particularly when it comes to gapping the top end of your set with your fairway woods, your hybrids and your long irons. to make sure that you've got clubs that are filling those distance gaps, and not just in carry, but also where the ball stops as well. So it's so important at this end of the set to be fitted properly so that you can actually hit greens when you're hitting these longer clubs into them as well. Hopefully you've enjoyed that video. I've loved hitting these, as I do all of the new product we get sent. It's like being a kid at Christmas here at the moment with all these new products coming in. Please keep watching all of our content on the Golfshake YouTube channel to help you play more, play better, and I'll see you all very soon.